Have you ever wanted to improve your English fluency but just didn't know where to start? Like you're motivated, but the whole thing feels a bit overwhelming?
You want to get better, but there's so much out there. Grammar rules, vocabulary lists, apps, podcasts. It's like, where do you even begin? And then you end up trying a bit of everything, but nothing really sticks.
And when you don't see progress, it's so easy to just give up. Like, why bother, right? But fluency isn't about cramming or studying harder. It's about the small, consistent things you do every day. The habits that actually add up over time.
And that's why today we're talking about 5 simple habits you can start using right now. No crazy methods, no extra stress, just stuff that actually works.
Right. The podcast where you can learn English in a way that feels, well, comfortable. No textbooks, no drills, just real, natural English.
Yeah, and if you've ever felt stuck or unsure about what to do next, this is for you. We're breaking it down into simple, doable steps.
All right, let's go. So the first habit is one of the easiest ways to improve your fluency, reading in English every day. And I'm not talking about hours and hours, just 30 minutes. More if you can, but 30 minutes is a great starting point.
I know most of the learners would say, but I don't have time. Let's be real. Most of us spend way too much time scrolling on our phones. Like, how many times do you check Instagram or TikTok in a day? Swap just 30 minutes of that for reading. It's not that hard.
You don't have to start with something super difficult. News articles, short stories, even children's books. Anything that feels manageable.
Yeah, don't go picking up War and Peace on day 1 and then wonder why you're frustrated after 2 pages. Start small.
And as you get more comfortable, you can move on to longer books or more complex articles. The key is making it a daily habit, not something you do once and forget about.
Oh, and here's a tip a lot of people skip. Read out loud. Seriously, it makes a huge difference. Most people just read in their heads, which is fine, but if you really want to improve, say the words out loud.
You can try by reading a sentence once in your head, then say it out loud. Do it twice, 3 times if you want. It helps with pronunciation, rhythm, and just getting used to hearing yourself speak English. The more you read, the more you start seeing patterns, phrases, and vocabulary that just stick in your mind without even trying. You'll catch yourself using those words or phrases in real conversations.
Okay, moving on to the second habit, listening to English every day. Podcasts, audiobooks, stories, anything you enjoy. The point is to get your ears used to the language.
But if you're thinking, I already listen to English all the time, ask yourself, are you actually listening? Or is it just there, like background noise while you're doing dishes? There's nothing wrong with passive listening, but if you want to improve, you need to focus sometimes. Pick content where you hear natural conversations, different accents, the way people really talk.
Classroom English is so polished. Real life? People mumble, use slang, drop words. You won't get that from a textbook. I remember trying to watch a British sitcom and not catching half the jokes because the accents were so thick.
That's why starting at your level matters. If native speed conversations feel overwhelming, use subtitles or slow the audio down. You have to push yourself a bit without feeling lost.
And don't be afraid to replay stuff. First time I listened to a podcast episode, I caught maybe 30%. But after the 3rd listen, suddenly phrases started clicking. It's like your brain needs time to warm up. Remember, what matters most is doing it daily. Even 15 minutes adds up over weeks. It's not about cramming. It's about building that routine.
All right, let's talk about the third habit, speaking every day. At least 30 minutes more if you can. And before you say it, no, you don't need someone else to do this with you.
This is a common concern for English learners, right? Here's the thing. You don't need a partner. Talk to yourself. Read out loud. Record your voice. Just get those words out of your mouth. And if you're worried about sounding weird, who cares? You're not giving a TED Talk. You're training your speech muscles. No one is watching you.
But if you do have someone to practice with, that's even better. Or you can join a language group, find a partner, or use an app where you can chat with people. But if that feels too intimidating, start smaller.
Like even reading your text messages out loud instead of just typing them helps. Or describe what you're doing while you're cooking or cleaning. The more you say things, the less awkward it feels.
Okay, so the fourth habit is all about immersion, turning everything around you into English. TV shows, movies, news, make it part of your daily life. The more you're exposed to it, the more natural it starts to feel.
Even social media. If you're scrolling through videos, switch them to English. Change your phone settings. Follow English-speaking creators. Make your whole environment work for you. It's like tricking your brain to learn and think in English without even trying.
Also, if you're using subtitles, keep them in English. That way, you're hearing and reading the language at the same time. It's a double boost for your brain.
But if a show feels too hard, don't give up. Start with something easier, like documentaries or slower-paced dramas. People tend to speak more clearly in those. Then, once you're comfortable, move on to faster shows or movies with more slang.
The idea is to get used to hearing English the way it's actually spoken every day, like a real habit. All right, last habit, writing in English every day. And no, I'm not talking about writing essays or anything formal. Just keep a journal. Write about your day, what went well, what didn't, and what you want to improve. It's simple, but it works.
Just get your thoughts down. Even a few sentences count.
And here's the cool part. When you look back, you'll actually see your progress. You'll notice mistakes you don't make anymore, words you've learned, and how your thoughts in English have changed over time.
Also, if you don't know how to say something, look it up. That's how you learn naturally. You're not just memorizing words. You're using them in real context. It sticks better that way. You can also use your journal to write down new words or phrases you come across. Maybe something from a movie, a podcast, or even a conversation. It's a great way to build your vocabulary without feeling like you're studying.
So now you've got the 5 habits. But here's the real question. How do you actually make them part of your daily life? Because, let's be honest, if you don't make time for them, they're just ideas, not habits.
Yeah, and that's where most people get stuck. They have good intentions, but life gets busy, and suddenly it's been a week and they haven't done any of it. So the trick is to fit these habits into your routine. Look at your day and see where they can naturally fit in.
For example, listening to a podcast while you're cooking or commuting, speaking for 30 minutes, maybe while you're getting ready in the morning or during a walk. It doesn't have to be a separate activity. It can just be part of what you're already doing.
And watching in English is easy. Just switch the language on whatever you're already watching. No extra effort required. Writing? Set a specific time, like before bed, to jot down a few sentences about your day. It doesn't have to be a novel, just a few thoughts. Once you get into the rhythm, it stops feeling like a task. It just becomes part of your day.
So, try it out. Experiment with what works for you. Maybe one habit sticks better than the others, and that's okay. The point is to keep going, even if it's just a little bit every day.
And hey, if you've got your own tips or tricks for staying consistent, share them with us. We're all in this together. Now go out there and make English part of your everyday life. Thanks for joining us, and keep practicing.
Time to go over some new words and phrases before we wrap up. Bother, meaning to take the time or effort to do something or to annoy someone. Example, he didn't bother to check his pronunciation, so his sentence sounded unclear. Cramming, meaning studying a lot in a short time, usually right before a test or deadline. Example, cramming too much vocabulary at once can be overwhelming and hard to remember. Drills, meaning repetitive exercises to practice a skill. Example, pronunciation drills can help you speak more clearly and confidently. Swap, meaning to exchange one thing for another. Example, let's swap roles. I'll ask the questions and you answer. Thick accent, meaning a strong way of pronouncing words that is typical of a particular language or region. Example, at first his thick accent made it hard to understand him, but now it's much clearer. Immersion, meaning being completely surrounded by a language or culture to learn it naturally. Example: moving to an English-speaking country is a great way to experience language immersion. Slower paced, meaning moving or happening at a slower speed. Example: some learners prefer slower-paced conversations to help them understand better. Keep practicing, and these words will start to feel natural in your speech. Thanks for listening.